There's this book called this Personality Me? No. I think it's just some sort of personality manual. Great starter to the MBTI, by the way. If you want to pick up a copy, it'd be fantastic. The author's name is Lenore Thompson, and she has a table in which she states some of these traits. Maybe I shouldn't use traits. Maybe I just use, I guess, weightings would be more correct. And I'll explain what I mean by weightings later. Okay, so Thompson says, well, thinkers, place importance on justice, ethics, fair play, equality. Feelers on consensus, morality, mercy, and loyalty. Okay, and thinkers is being just against a feeler's mercy. Thinkers is fair versus a feeler's being a thinker's correct versus a feeler's fairness. Okay, so think about those traits just right now. Okay, just stop. Think. Good. Okay. Yes, I can hear your brain moving. That's good. So hopefully what you've noticed among some of these traits that I've just read about thinkers and feelers, hopefully is that they can overlap or indeed be the same thing given the appropriate context, right? So probably the one that sort of best illustrates this is using the idea of being fair versus being correct. Okay. Let's say that, let's use the law, for example. So the law is, a written set of rules, that identifies what is correct given the context of legal proceedings. Okay, this is the context. Okay, very important. So in this situation, what is being correct? Well, in this situation then, because we've defined it like that, to be correct is to follow the law. Okay, so, but what about fairness? Well, if you think about the law, isn't a lot of the law based on trying to maintain a sense of fairness? So in that sense, in many cases actually, to be fair is to be correct, and to be correct is also to be fair. This is an idea that a lot of people have a lot of difficulty wrapping their heads around, and that's probably one of the biggest road obstacles to really understanding the TF dichotomy. But remember, as I said before, it's not about what kind of a person you are. It's about what weightings you placed on certain characteristics and how you act on them. Okay, so, and again, I mean, feelers aren't, to that definition, then feelers aren't always fluffy and nice. I've met some pretty snappy feelers. And thinkers aren't always cold and robotic. I've met some extraordinarily empathetic and compassionate thinkers. And another analogy, I guess, might be able to illustrate this idea of interdependency. I mean, you would think that, I mean, logically speaking, if they're so independent to a point where it's difficult identifying where they don't overlap, that they would be different, right? But this is what I mean by it's you can't oversimplify, as in applying these traits to a certain people. Okay, the interdependency I'm talking about is in the theory level rather than, say, the daily life level. Okay, so one great example of this is, say you have a piece of literature. I pick Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness because that happens to be my favorite book. Let's say that you have a linguistic major and an English literature major sitting together in the same room. Okay, and they analyze this text. Now, in this context, the linguistic major, let's say the thinker, okay, is the thinker, would point out, oh, this is a metaphor, this is a hyperbole, this is a simile, this is, cacophony, this is, this is iambic pentameter, this is, syntax, okay? Whereas on the surface level, seemingly, okay, the English literature major would try to identify the themes, relate the themes to the author, and then just go, sort of like an ongoing, commentary or critique. Now, the problem is that if you think about it, thinking and feeling is by necessity interdependent. Okay, by necessity. Because if you consider, well, yes, the linguistic major or the thinker is going to consider the syntax, of course, right? But in order to understand the syntax, you also have to appreciate the themes and the things that are sort of lumped together with the semantics, right? So, well, why did the author likes using long, sentences. Why did the author suddenly stop doing that and suddenly made all his sentences super short, all begin with the same, sound to establish a sense of rhythm? Well, why did he do that? Okay, so in that sense, the linguistic major still has to venture into the realm of appreciation of the theme. And likewise, the English Lit major would still need to look at the syntax in order to really put the theme in context. So it's kind of like a mutual contextualization, if you will. So I find that sort of understanding of thinking and feeling is important. So yes, they're distinct. One's linguistics, one's syntax, one is interpretation. One is thinking, one is feeling. But they will both utilize, both, or seemingly the other person's characteristics at the same time, okay? And that goes back to understanding. Again, you can Google all the characteristics of thinkers and feelers, but you have to apply that idea to this in order for it to make sense, right? Now I'm going to explain the concept of weighting. Okay, now weighting is when you're in the process of making a decision, what sort of things you place an emphasis on. Okay, so back to this scenario. Okay, so you need to make a decision using rationality as predictability. You either need to think or to feel. Okay, this is where thinking and feeling differ and give you different results. Okay, so what I mean by weightings is that so all those traits that you know about thinking, all those traits that you know about feeling, compassionate, analytical, objective versus subjective, those all fall into these boxes. Okay, there's a reason I drew them as boxes. They're supposed to represent black boxes. Okay, so a thinker would place emphasis on such things as, so now this would be where you insert the characteristics that you know. A thinker would place heavier weighting when making a decision on stuff like objectivity, on stuff like empirical evidence, whereas the feeler would place more weighting, more significance on things like empathy, interpersonal values, personal values. Okay, so this is where they differ, and it is in these black boxes that's where the characteristics lie and nowhere else. Okay, so this chain has to be maintained. They're both adhering to systems of rationality, but they're putting different weights on different values and characteristics. Okay, so I really hope I kind of drew that home, the idea of it is not the case that if you're thinking, it's rationality, and if you're not thinking, then you're not rational. It's a matter of what method of rationality that you use. Okay, so if you apply all the characteristics that you know about thinkers and feelers into that model, it'll make sense. Okay, and I guess one last sort of parting example I can think of is I had a roommate, and she was a feeler, and it was quite amusing because I think she owed this company, I think it was $1.48, and they kept calling her to pay it back, which is kind of funny, right? They sent her letters, call her, they were just hassling her, pay back your freaking $1.78, and she came up to me, she's like, WTF, why would they, it's $1.78, they're a multi-million-dollar corporation, they don't need my money, okay? Whereas I said, as a thinker, I said, yeah, that's true, right? And I can see why you would think that. But I think that the idea of consistency in the system is more important. Okay? Yes, that may not be a lot of money, but okay, the system says that you need to pay it back, and they need to do this to make you pay it back. Okay? If you let one person not pay this back, you have to let that person not pay it back, and the entire system is no longer consistent. Okay? So in the sense, we're both being rational, and that because of our judgment orientations, we would make or place different weightings on different priorities. So in that situation, as a thinker, I placed a stronger weighting on maintaining a system and objectivity, okay? And she placed a heavier weighting on, say, the importance of making the customer feel welcomed or not harassed, or interpersonal values and a sense of empathy, okay? So I hope you kind of have a sense of what thinking and feeling is. Again, this is not something that I can explain in exactly less than 20 minutes. It's very complex. It's something that, if you really want to get a good grasp of this, you have to go and read literature. You just really, really have to. I mean, a lot of this, I can try explaining it, but it's very difficult to explain, particularly without examples. So just remember that it's not, okay, hopefully if you take away nothing from thinking and feeling, I hope you understand this chart, okay? This is probably the summary of thinking and feeling, okay? It's not a matter of the absence or presence of rationality, okay? In both situations, rationality is present. Rationality as predictability, but it is the methods, okay? The methods is when you pick a method, it's which box you use, and determining based on what box you use, you will put different weightings on different values. Okay, so that would be the sort of back to the penny debt example. So yeah, that'd be my interpretation of thinking and feeling. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and peace out.